and gents, I am the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the channel on YouTube.com. It is, of course, Monday, September 27th, 2021, and this is the official rewind for WWE Extreme Rules 2021, which, of course, streamed live on Peacock last night, September 26th, with the pre-show starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We got a lot to go over, we got a lot to dissect, we got a lot to analyze, and for the very first time in about 6 months, I would say, a long time, I have a very good friend of mine back here on the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the creator, the innovator, the king of PWP Nation. Please help me welcome loyal DJ Storms posse member, lifelong wrestling fan, Mr. Jay Alletto. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, brother. How you doing tonight?
I'm hanging in there, man. I'm hanging in there. I've been pretty fucking busy as of lately with brand work. I got a new fucking job I'm starting pretty soon. Life's going nuts. I actually got a new dog myself. I know you were just putting the dog away to go to sleep, but how's everything been with you? How's the family and all?
Say, man, when you're in a point of life where the biggest problem you have is what you're going to have for dinner tonight, that's a pretty nice feeling. So I've been doing great, bro. Been kicking ass at the day job, the shoot job. PWP Nation's been rocking and rolling over on Facebook, on Twitter. Some new articles up on the website. You know, got the side hustles going. eBay. Got my Bitcoin stash, having a good time, getting involved in NFTs, opening the door to some new income streams, new possibilities. So, and of course, loving professional wrestling. Right now, we're in almost like a boom period of some sort where there's a lot of hype, a lot of excitement around the business. So it's really exciting to have things going on like that right now.
Well, I wish we could say the same thing about the current WWE product. Now, before we get into the specifics about the WWE product, of course, I'm happy you're doing all right. Usually with shows like this where the build has just been completely non-existent, they've just completely half-assed it. I mean, that's with the normal amount of WWE shows, but usually when there's a pay-per-view in which people don't even know is taking place, a pay-per-view that has been just so underhyped and underwhelmed over the course of X amount of weeks that it's been building up to. Usually, with WWE's case, we go into it with no expectations, and it turns out to be a fairly decent wrestling show. So, we're not going to completely shit on the show that we saw last night, and I'm not going to rant too hard. Obviously, it was not a great show, but, man, everything else that surrounded the wrestling last night, I'm all for watching good wrestling. Trust me on that. I'm all for watching good wrestling, but I don't know what the fuck they are doing as far as the storylines, the build, and everything from the booking, the producing, the scripting of the superstars, the booking of the characters. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, and again, I am not the only person that's saying this. There are content creators and analysts and YouTubers and podcasters bigger than me, smaller than me, that are saying and doing the exact same thing. Same thing with you. I know you have been saying a lot of things similar to what I've been saying about the current WWE product and how they've been handling everything. It's really becoming very redundant to say the same thing over and over again. All I want is to watch a decent wrestling show, but I would like to get your thoughts on the overall pay-per-view before we get into the specifics of everything. What were your thoughts on the overall build, the match card, and everything in between?
So the build was mediocre. You know, a lot of the main programs were put in kind of like a weird state of flux, I would say. When you look at the title picture with Roman Reigns, he's heading into the big show, Super Showdown, whatever they're calling it.
Yes,
Greatest World.
Crown Jewel.
Crown Jewel. Heading into Crown Jewel against Brock Lesnar. We knew that was going to happen, so we know he's walking out with the championship. Other things that are kind of in flux, right? Sasha Banks disappears for SummerSlam. We know she's coming back imminently. When was she coming back? Of course, but so there was a lot of things where this was almost like a build-up show to the future shows, Crown Jewel and Survivor Series, which I believe will come after Crown Jewel. Is there another one in between there, or no? That's it, right?
There actually isn't. I actually thought that they were going to do what they usually do, and they were going to do like a Crown Jewel, a Saudi event, and then they were going to do a pay-per-view like a week afterwards. They've done that a couple times, but surprisingly, there is none. It's just one pay-per-view, one little Saudi show, and then they're going right into Survivor Series. I believe it's on November 22nd or 21st, if I'm not mistaken. Whichever Sunday comes before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and also we have the draft coming up, and so, there was a lot of moving parts, for lack of a better term, for this entire show going into it, and now we're going to get a bigger picture of where we're headed going into Survivor Series. We know Crown Jewel is going to be what it is. They'll probably do some cool stuff in that show because they really want to get people hyped up behind it and whatever, but we're headed towards Survivor Series, where hopefully we'll have a gigantic Survivor Series card this year in Brooklyn. I think that's really what their focal point is. So this was kind of a predictable, let's get through this type of pay-per-view.
That's pretty much the entire vibe that has surrounded the entire WWE product, if we're going to be quite honest here. It's not just their pay-per-views, man. It's not just this one show. They haven't put effort into fucking anything, man. Including WrestleMania and SummerSlam. They just built that on the fact that, hey, we're WWE, it's WrestleMania, it's SummerSlam, and all that other bullshit.
And let's not diss on the wrestling itself, the in-ring product. These wrestlers are doing great. They're busting their asses. Yeah. It's creative. It's the way the show's timed. It's the way it's put together. It's the relying on the same old. That's really the problem.
I've literally stated this numerous amounts of times, and this show almost gave me WrestleMania Backlash vibes, because that show was a very good in-ring wrestling show. I did not have one complaint about the in-ring work from anyone outside of the Damian Priest Miz Zombie Lumberjack match, but we're not going to go in depth on that. I've said it once and I'll say it again. WWE arguably has the best roster that they have ever had in the history of their company. The best in-ring roster that they've ever had, they've ever assembled, and you wouldn't know that with the way that the shows are booked and produced and scripted. They do everything to just shit all over the talent that some of these athletes possess.
Yeah, and a part of the problem is they stick to the same old. As I mentioned before, it's the Bruce Pritchard, Vince McMahon kind of old school way of putting the show together. They don't innovate. It doesn't have a sports vibe to it. It's almost, and I've used this term over the past decade 100 times, because look, the show just doesn't evolve, but it's a parody of what it used to be. It's almost like a show about a wrestling show rather than it being a wrestling show. And that's where it loses me at times, man. It's so gimmicky. There's so many weird moving parts, so many rematches. It doesn't have a sports feel to it.
5 out of the 6 matches on this show were rematches.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly.
Good wrestling, but rematches.
Yep, 100%. You're absolutely right, bro. There's ways you could be more creative with your roster, and they just don't do it. They fail at that time and time again. And hopefully, with the mix-up coming soon next week, I believe, on SmackDown this week, right? SmackDown this week starts with the draft.
October 1st, I do believe that is the date of the draft, and then it's going to bleed into Raw as well. But I also heard reports, and this was actually a topic that I talked about on the LFU actually on Saturday before my OBS fucking crapped out on me and I had to delete that, which I will be switching over to StreamYard from here on out. Jay, he uses that actually. I'm going to be switching over to that because fuck OBS. And I actually talked about that they're planning on doing a King of the Ring starting this weekend. It's going to extend from the 1st to the 3rd, and it's going to take place over that period. Now, I am not really too sure how they're going to format that and all that, but if it was me, I would just have King of the Ring on their weekly television program, because Lord knows Raw and SmackDown, they need some fucking help.
Yeah, I didn't even hear about that. That's interesting. So what are they doing it over house shows? Like,
I have absolutely no idea. I think it's going to be like a special on Peacock. I heard that from PW Insider. Hang on, I think I took some notes on it, if I'm not mistaken. I think I wrote this down. PW Insider that reported that WWE will be airing a King of the Ring special on Fox the weekend of October 3rd, or the weekend of October 1st to October 3rd. So I don't really know how that's going to work, but Thought that was
Did they
interesting.
even announce that on the show? You figure they'd announce that on the show, unless they're going to announce it tomorrow night or something. Like, I guess announce it tomorrow night.
Outside of the WWE title match between Big E and Lashley, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's weird. I guess, though, right? But whatever. I mean, whatever you got to do to create content and keep yourself moving forward in a direction that's positive. Get these guys some in-ring action, something to do, something to like, some substance to get over. You know, I'm cool with it. Whatever. You know.
I'm not mad at them for producing more content on Peacock and all that. I'm pissed off that they haven't even built it up.
Yeah, not at all.
I mean,
not
they
even
announced
a little.
it. They just
I didn't hear about it
people
till
to
now.
care.
Yeah.
Because, hey, we're World Wrestling Entertainment. But anyway, we're going to dive into the specifics and the analytics and everything regarding Extreme Tools 2021. But first things first, Mr. Alletto, where can everyone find you on social media?
Thank you so much, sir. Always at PWP Nation, as well on Twitter at Alletto Live. I have been banned on Twitter at my old name, so you got to find me on the new one before they find it in new cat.
You and me, man. You and me.
Yeah, exactly. But Facebook, Facebook's good. Instagram's good. I'm everywhere, man. Jay Alletto. I'm not a ghost. I'm not like anonymous. So find me wherever you're gonna find me, brother.
And all of his links are in the description if you want to check it out. The PWP Nation website and eBay store as well. The links are in the description. I know you will be making a return to the PWP Nation YouTube channel, doing some more interviews very, very soon.
Absolutely. So I took some time off in, Q2, Q3, did a little bit of stuff. But Q4, man, I'm back, dude. I'm going to be back. I'm going to be doing not daily shows, but multiple shows per week. Always live, always doing my thing. I'm going to be talking about the news, pro wrestling, of course, MMA, all kinds of stuff. Whatever I got going on in this crazy head of mine, we're going to be talking about, as well as interviews with interesting people. I like talking to different people. If you look at the channel right now, lots of outside the box, weird interviews and discussions with people of all different walks of life. And that's what we're going to continue to do next quarter, and hopefully continuing into the future if I can keep my momentum going, you know?
Excellent. I look forward to seeing that, and I look forward to seeing the evolution of PWP Nation, baby. Now, as far as I go, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @TheDJ_Storms. That is both on Twitter and Instagram, like I just said. Add me on Facebook for collaborations and business inquiries. Please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com, like the official DJ Storms business page. And I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook, in which Mr. Jay Alletto is an active member on. Of course, be sure, if you have not already done so, hit that like button. It is vital. I got Jay Alletto here on the channel talking Extreme Tools. He's taking time out of his busy schedule to join me here on the channel. If you're not in the like button, we got a fucking problem, people. Please make sure you hit that like button when you come on in. And of course, keep the chat alive. Talk amongst me, talk amongst yourselves. Keep the chat alive and share it out on all platforms of social media. I'm talking about Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, and TikTok, and Snapchat. Whatever social media platforms that you use, get as many people in here as we possibly can. Of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube, because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it's the best time to be on YouTube, because it's the only time you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn shin strap combo and his beautiful mustache right here. This is my man Earl Cole's favorite part right here, where I bring out the magic black comb. We're going to light up on here with a little a dash of and a whole lot of because everybody wants a piece of the Storms Meister. Anyway, enough of the self-brand promotion and the advertisements. We're going to get straight into the card. We had the pre-show starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I hate the fact that they pushed back the pay-per-view. The 7 o'clock time slot to start the main show was such a great time slot, and it worked out a hell of a lot better for content creators and WWE itself. I don't know why they pushed it back to 8. I'm not sure if it was a fucking AEW thing. I'm not sure if it was a Peacock initiative. I don't know what it was, but I fucking hate that they pushed it back an hour. And on top of that, if you're going to do a fucking Extreme Rules pay-per-view, at least put some fucking effort in giving these matches some stipulations. You take a look at the Extreme Rules card from 2009. That was in the dead center of the PG fucking era, and every single match had a fucking extreme stipulation. Now you look here, One fucking match had an extreme stipulation, and the one match that did, you overbooked the fucking shit out of it. If you're not going to do an Extreme Rules stipulation pay-per-view, then kill the fucking pay-per-view. It is completely fucking unnecessary. But there was a big brawl on the pre-show, and that was between the New Day, Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, and Black Great Khali, a.k.a. Omos. This led to a 6-man tag team match between all 6 men. How fucking riveting. You know what I'm disappointed at? I'm disappointed that we didn't get Keith Bearcat Lee on the show. I heard that these Southeast Asian animals are big-time draws, Jay. Telling you.
Yeah, dude, look, I don't know what they were thinking going into this show without having something clear for these men to do. And, like, I'm talking New Day, I'm talking Lashley, Omos, and AJ Styles. But, look, at the end of the day, they got them something to do, right? They didn't have anything prepared, but they figured a way to get them onto the show and to ultimately build towards that Raw opening match tomorrow night, the kickoff match of Monday Night Raw, which is going to be Lashley challenging Big E for the WWE Championship. So, as much as I despise WWE for not putting these wrestlers in a position to have something planned and ready to go for Extreme Rules, at least they did something to get them on the show, to kick the show off in a hot way. So I can't really hate on what they did there. They just poured fuel on the fire to keep this feud going.
We'll talk about that in a little bit because that match actually kicked off the show, but the pre-show had Liv Morgan versus Carmella on it. We're gonna quickly go over the happenings within the match. So Carmella rambled on and on about whatever. I actually was not paying attention to this because there was actually a technical issue. There was 2 technical issues, actually. The first tech issue happened on the pre-show where the Spanish commentators and their audio was actually crossing over with Pat McAfee and Michael Cole. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Thankfully, they got that under control, but dude, this is a $1 billion fucking company, and Peacock and the partnership with WWE has been going on since fucking March, and they're still having these fucking issues. It's so fucking amateur. Thank God they got it fixed, but holy shit, was it fucking... I was getting a headache, dude.
I had no clue what was going on. I turned off the app. I turned it back on. I tried the Spanish side to see if it was doing the same thing, and it wasn't. The Spanish side was just Spanish. And then I went back to the English side, and it was still doing it. And I'm just like, all right, I guess this is just a major malfunction. Stupid, man. Just dumb,
I had
pointless.
to put my ear to the speaker because I didn't have it on full volume. I had to put my ear to the speaker to really get a feel for it, and I was listening. I'm like, is this on me? Is this on Peacock? Am I hearing this correctly? We got fucking Spanish people rambling on, and then Pat McAfee and Michael Cole talking, and then we had French commentary to kick off the show for the New Day entrance. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I'm surprised we didn't hear a fucking Sacre Bleu, but anyway.
Unbelievable.
So, the match itself. So, Carmella was in control a little bit early with a snap suplex that got a 2 count on Miss Morgan. Liv Morgan then tried to mount the comeback with a rising knee strike in the corner, a step up enziguri, and a double stomp, sending Carmella face first into the mat for a 2 count. Mella then with a very weak-looking super kick. Carmella's super kicks are very, very 50-50. Sometimes she gets it, sometimes she doesn't. But this was a very weak-looking super kick. Morgan ended up kicking out. Morgan then with a jumping code breaker for a 2. Crowd was chanting, "Let's go, Morgan." Morgan then sent Carmella, catapulting her face first into the announce table, and then she got Carmella back into the ring and gave her the rope-assisted flatliner for the win. Well, it wasn't a dog shit match. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, oh god, this match was fucking terrible. It wasn't terrible. It was just very basic. It was very formulaic. It was a decent little match, but if we are going to be quite honest here, everything that this match was, and to be quite honest, everything that this pay-per-view was, everything that this match was completely fucking meaningless. We have seen Liv Morgan beat Carmella on 4 different other occasions. We saw her beat Carmella twice in the Thunderdome before WWE went back on the road. She pinned Carmella in a Fatal 4-Way Elimination match about 4 weeks ago, and then her and Toni Storm beat Zelina Vega and Carmella in a tag team match via a countout. So if this was going to mean anything, why didn't you save Liv Morgan's big win for a pay-per-view? everything that we saw here ultimately meant nothing. It was a decent little match, but we have seen this shit time and time again that it just felt numb. It just completely felt numb. But what were your thoughts on this match, and where can you see Liv Morgan and Carmella going afterwards?
Yeah, they gave him some time. I mean, they gave him a little bit of time to do their thing. Ultimately, you want to get Liv Morgan wins, right? You want to make sure that she is moving up the card because she has unlimited potential. She's still young. She's vibrant. She's got ambition. You can tell that she's got that kind of it factor. She just hasn't found it yet. You know what I mean? She's getting there. So Carmella also, veteran, been around for a long time. She has earned her spot on the show. The match did what it was supposed to do. Liv Morgan up. Keep building, because look, at the end of the day, you need an undercard, mid-card scene for your women's division. You need it to be strong because you have to eventually elevate these women up the card, especially Liv Morgan, right? That's the point here. So you need something going on there, and I like the fact that they showcased it on a pay-per-view, even though it was the kickoff show.
So what I can see happening now is I can actually see Liv Morgan being built up for an interim program with Becky. I'm not sure how likely that is now because Sasha Banks returned, and we're going to be talking about Sasha Banks' return and how she plays into what's going on here. But if anything, I really don't see Becky losing that championship anytime soon, and I actually do believe that probably in December or January, we very well could be looking at Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I don't understand why you wouldn't do that, especially after you've been building up Liv Morgan for a decent amount of time now. Now, I could be talking out my ass here, and we could very well see WWE just completely kill Liv Morgan's push, just like they took her off of television for 5 weeks after Money in the Bank. When she really should have gone on to win Money in the Bank, if we're going to be quite honest here. But the match, again, not terrible, not a dog shit match, but meant nothing in the end, because we've seen this match time and time again in various forms. And Liv Morgan's pay-per-view win, it was just a shrug of the shoulders moment when all was said and done. That was the pre-show, but again, it wasn't a terrible match. Both of these women are not bad professional wrestlers. Now, as far as the main show goes, main show started off with The New Day versus AJ Styles Omos and Bobby Lashley. And I'm just going to openly say this right out of the gate. WWE is completely ass fucking backwards. They have done this shit time and time and time again. Why are you putting a match? Now, it wasn't a bad match. It was a very good match. But why are you putting a match that realistically is a Monday Night Raw match on steroids on a pay-per-view when you realistically should have done Big E versus Bobby Lashley at the end of the day? If the end result was not going to be Big E versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship on the Extreme Rules card to enhance the show a bit, because that would have meant a lot more and that would have actually enhanced the show just a little bit, why even bother putting him on the show? It's fucking stupid. It really is. That's just a little shit that really irks the shit out of me. Everything else surrounding the pay-per-view, outside of the in-ring work, everything else just was fucking atrocious, I'm telling you. Again, I'm sounding like a broken record, but holy shit, dude. Holy shit.
Well, I would have liked it a lot better if they would have maybe, Saturday night, last night, or Friday night or something, announced the 6-man tag. Like, maybe announced it and say, okay, this is what these 6 wrestlers are doing at Extreme Rules, rather than just throw it together on the pre-show. I never like when they throw it together on the pre-show, because that is just lazy. Now, I'm going to push back a little bit on your point with Big E versus Lashley, because you got to remember, they have to have marquee matches to try to compete with Monday Night Football. If they're not even going to try, because in the past there's been weeks where they haven't tried, right? Where Monday Night Raw is up against Monday Night Football.
If we're going to be quite honest, dude, they're not.
I know, but they got to try. I mean,
they couldn't even break a 1.8 with Roman.
You're right, but they have to do it for the network. They have to do it for USA Network. They have to do it to actually show that they're trying to draw a rating up against, and also they want to keep up with AEW at this point too. I mean, stay ahead of AEW, I should say, because they're feeling the heat, brother. Vince is feeling the heat, and it's a lot of it's self-made heat, because he hates losing and he hates being challenged. So that's why they're doing the WWE Championship to kick off Raw. I wouldn't doubt shenanigans take place, bro, because knowing absolutely. WWE and Monday Night Raw, they're probably gonna bridge that match into an angle throughout the entire show to get to the main event, because what else are you going to do in the main event? But anyway,
Red
if you want to talk about the match, I mean, it was a decent way to open the card. I mean, 3-on-3, AJ Styles in there with New Day. You can't really go wrong, bro. I didn't mind the match. I thought it was fun.
Again, the match itself was not bad. Hell, I'm even going to come out and say this right now. Even the Alexa Bliss Charlotte match didn't even offend me too much. That wasn't as bad as I expected. And everybody knows that I'm probably the biggest Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss detractor on this fucking planet. We'll talk about that when we get to that championship match. But again, the in-ring work on the show was not bad at all. It's just tough to really get behind it, no matter how good it is, when everything surrounding the WWE product right now is either laziness or desperation. And I understand you need to put on big matches or put on quality television to keep up with Monday Night Football. If WWE would have been doing that for years and they would have established themselves a nice reputation of being a consistently good TV show, then they wouldn't be in this position and they wouldn't have to bust their ass and really just come as close as possible to putting on a semi-decent show just to please the fucking networks. They should have been operating with a long-term vision from the beginning, and that is the one thing that has come back around to bite them in the ass. The sheer laziness, the sheer desperation, and the complete lack of care for just everything. Hey, we're WWE. They're going to watch anyway. We don't need to put any effort into anything. WWE caused this problem for themselves.
Yeah, they really did. But at the end of the day, look, man, they got to try something. They got to do.
I have an idea. Put on consistently good television. Wins and losses matter. Be serious. Get rid of the hokey, cheesy bullshit and this sports entertainment garbage. Simple as that.
Yeah, and they're starting to feel the effects. Believe it or not, I know they've released so many wrestlers and stuff, but now they're starting to really feel the effects of not having that back roster to like cycle into the show, to like put them into a random match, to just make it not feel as kind of like redundant. They're starting to feel the effects of that. That's why there's such a mad dash in NXT to like get people going and bring them up, because they're starting to feel that. You know, you let go of all these wrestlers, and then you look at developmental and you say, okay, who do we got down there? We got Adam Cole? No, we don't. You know, we got Daniel Bryan on our main roster? No, we don't. We got The Fiend? Nope. Like now they got some trouble in the future if they don't start getting their shit together, man.
That's another thing that really just fucked WWE over. WWE back then, it was necessary that they have a draft, because their roster was just so oversaturated with so much talent. And they didn't even embrace the draft. They still didn't give people the proper opportunities. Now they've released about 60% of the 60% plus of the original roster from the 2016 draft. Now there's no need for two rosters. It's the same people each and every single week. The rosters need to be combined. One tag team championship, one women's championship, two mid-card titles, two world titles, burn the women's tag team titles, burn the 24/7 title, and be done with it.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I mean, they'll probably end up doing that eventually, but right now I think they're dead set on keeping this brand thing going.
How many times have we said that, man? It's been how many fucking years?
They always do this, though, man. If you look back to 2002 when they originally did it, it lasted for a few years. They recombined the brands, and then they had the brands combined for a little bit. Then they split them again, and now they're gonna. The same thing's gonna happen. They're gonna have it for a while, then they're gonna combine them again. It's just the same cycle, bro.
Unbelievable. But let's go over what happened in the match. So the French commentary was shut off fairly quickly, so thank God for that. I don't think I could have listened to Spanish, French. I was waiting for Mandarin to come on next. Anyway, Big E and Bobby Lashley, they stood face to face. New Day was in control early on. Bobby Lashley was isolated. Lashley regained control. He was tossing around Kofi. The heels isolated Kofi. Omoston came in with a stalling suplex gourd buster on Mr. Kingston. Styles came in. He continued to wear down Kofi before Kofi came back with a mushroom stomp. He eventually made the tag to Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods with the rolling elbow, enziguri, 10 punches in the corner. And then he hit a slingshot DDT on Bobby Lashley for 2. Lashley with a tilt-a-whirl power slam for a 2. Woods with a missile dropkick, and he eventually tagged in the WWE Champion Big E. In came Styles as well. Big E lit up Styles with a couple of belly-to-belly suplexes and a big splash. Styles with a Pele kick. Big E and Styles, they kind of botched the Uranagi, but they did recover from it. The recovery was very, very nice. Styles, he jumped. Big E did not get the slam in time, so he held Styles and powered him through and gave him a standard Uranagi instead of the rebound corner Uranagi. That got a 2 count. Then we had Styles hitting an Enziguri, Kofi making the tag. He hit a big powerbomb double stomp combo before Lashley saved it. Lashley and Styles, they were sent to the outside. And then Kofi was launched by Big E, Omos with the Great Khali chop. He's even doing the Great Khali's moves. And then people want to climb on my ass for calling him the Black Great Khali. He's doing the fucking Great Khali's moves. Come on. Styles then took out Woods. Styles tagged himself in. And listen, the match ultimately meant nothing in the end. Continuing the streak of the entire pay-per-view. Nothing meant anything on that night yesterday. But the ending to this match, the ending sequence, I will say, was excellent. The ending sequence was very, very smooth. So, Styles, he tagged himself in. Lashley was clearly pissed. Styles went for the phenomenal forearm. Lashley tagged himself in mid-springboard with Styles. Styles was in mid-springboard. Lashley tagged himself in. Big E saw the tag. He dodged the phenomenal forearm, then dodged Lashley. Lashley speared AJ Styles, and then Big E with the big ending to Lashley for the win. Lashley's booking over the course of the last few weeks, man, Lashley's booking has been fucking terrible. They should have never hot-shotted the title onto Big E in that moment, and they are really doing Bobby Lashley dirty. And I don't expect Bobby Lashley to win the championship back with the way that they're booking him. Maybe he does, and Big E's Money in the Bank cash-in would all be for nothing, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like Lashley's getting that title back anytime soon, and it doesn't seem like Bobby Lashley's going to have anything to do, at least until WrestleMania, when he inevitably faces Brock Lesnar in that dream match that everyone has been calling for. But the ending was excellent. The match was good. Not going to shit on the in-ring work outside of Omos, but at the end of all of it, it was unnecessary. Who gives a shit? It should have been Big E versus Lashley for the title one-on-one. No reason to get AJ and Omos and the New Day on the show. I'm still wondering why AJ is even still paired with Omos. We haven't even gotten a fucking explanation as to why Styles even enlisted Omos' services back in October of last year to begin with. Yeah, now you want us to care about them in a fucking tag team?
Yeah, again, it was to get them on the show, and that's for the live audience. It's not really for the logic of the booking and the storylines. It's nothing like that. But what they've done now
with WWE,
there's not. But what they've done is they've set up, some heat between AJ Styles and Lashley. Now that's there. That's because of the tag out situation. There's some heat there if they want it. Now you're also getting Big E a win at the pay-per-view, which is impressive. I mean, you get the crowd going, pop for Big E. Yay, the new WWE champion gets a win after he got laid out by Lashley, after he got laid out by Roman. There's some heat against him after he won the title. He got beat a couple times. Anyway, what they're doing, Mr. DJ Storms, again, they're looking at Survivor Series, sir. They're looking at they're not going to do Roman versus Lashley at Survivor Series, nor are they going to do Brock versus Lashley at Survivor Series. So what they're going to do is Roman versus Big E at Survivor Series. That's really the big marquee match they want to have inside Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. Now, we've seen Big E and Roman go at it in the triple threat. We've seen them go at it in the six-man. We've seen them go at it a couple times. The big singles match, the marquee match they need at Survivor Series is Roman versus Big E, champion versus champion. So that's really the reason why Lashley is getting... In order for them to do that, you need to take Lashley out of the picture. At least momentarily, at least for a little while. And like you said, to start that build to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, if that's really where they're going, which they should go that way. They need to pull him back a little bit, and they're going to use him to get Big E some quality wins to build towards Roman.
We're going to talk about Roman Reigns a little bit later on, because Roman Reigns, he is I don't want to say problem, but he kind of is a problem unto himself. Not necessarily in a bad way, because again, he's probably the best thing on WWE right now, even though he's becoming a little bit stagnant. But we're going to talk about that when we get to the main event. The show continued on with a SmackDown Tag Team Championship match, Street Profits and the Usos, and I would probably say this was the second best match on the show, and that has to do with how good the Street Profits and the Usos really are. This match was excellent. I was actually a little bit stunned by the outcome, and I say that specifically because of the fact that I had it in my mind that they were going to flip-flop the championships back and forth between the Street Profits and the Usos because they are just completely low on tag teams. There is no tag teams on SmackDown. The tag team division on Raw and SmackDown completely non-existent, so I had a feeling that WWE to try and mask their laziness, even though this would just be doubling down on their laziness, they would flip-flop the championships back and forth between the Street Profits and the Usos. So I was actually calling a title change. I actually said on the rundown with Earl Cole, shout out to him, that we were going to see a title change here. And I'm actually thankful that I was wrong. I was thankful that I was wrong because this was the right outcome here with the Usos retaining. So the Street Profits were in control early on. The Usos targeted the injured ribs of Montez Ford, like heels should. Ford eventually tagged in Dawkins. Dawkins lit up the Street Profits, or lit up the Usos rather, with a corkscrew elbow, a corkscrew stinger splash, and a bulldog to Jay. Jimmy tried for a suicide dive. Dawkins countered with an exploder suplex on the floor to Jimmy. Jay then got punched in the face as he went for a suicide dive. Crowd chanted, "We want tables." This is another thing that I had a problem with. Why couldn't you have made this match like a tables match or a ladder match? You would have benefited a lot of matches if you actually put some stipulations on them. Bliss and Charlotte would have benefited. Becky and Bianca would have benefited. And Bliss and, Street Profits and Usos would have benefited altogether. But moving on, we had Dawkins hitting a superplex, and then he rolled through Seth Rollins style into a double underhook neckbreaker. That got a 2. Street Profits with a beautiful electric chair blockbuster combo. Another close 2 count. Usos then with a double spinebuster to Dawkins for a 2. Ford then tagged in behind the Usos' back. Dawkins with a spinebuster. Ford went for the beautiful 5-star frog splash, but I believe it was Jimmy that got the knees up. Ford was able to kick out. We had a tag back to Dawkins. The Usos then were able to slip out of Dawkins' grasp, hit a super kick to Dawkins. Usos with an Uso splash. I believe it was Jimmy that hit an Uso splash on Dawkins. Dawkins was able to kick out. Ford then made the tag. Dawkins was then sent to the barricade. Ford with a Ricochet-esque tope con hero over the post. Looked beautiful, taking out the Usos. Ford then hit the 5-star frog splash, but Ford could not make the cover. He sold the ribs, as he should. Ford went for the cover on Jay, I believe it was. Jimmy saved it. We had a double super kick to Dawkins. Dawkins was taken out of the equation. Double super kick to Ford. Almost a Lucha Bros-esque meeting in the middle super kick. And then they hit the double Uso splash. And the Usos retain in an excellent tag team championship match. Probably the second best match on the night. Both of these two teams work very, very, very well together. I don't know where the Street Profits go. I don't see them going anywhere at the moment. I see the Usos fighting against the Alpha Academy now because they did tease that last Friday on SmackDown, actually. They teased that last Friday on SmackDown with the Alpha Academy staring down the Usos face-to-face. I know you probably didn't watch that, but I did watch it. And I saw the Alpha Academy stare down the Usos face-to-face before SmackDown went off the air. Actually, before the main event segment with Roman and Montez Ford. And if I'm going to be quite honest, man, I would give the championships to the Alpha Academy. Because the Alpha Academy, they've been a very, 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 very solid heel act. They've been playing the roles very, very well. They've been putting on some damn good matches. I would reward them. I would give them the tag team championships. I'm not sure when Chad Gable's contract is up. A lot of people have been saying that his contract's coming up. I'm not sure if he's resigned. Don't know really why he would resign. Even if they give him the tag team championships, they're not going to hold him for an extended period of time. They're not really going to have a memorable tag team championship title reign, but Now, who am I to tell Chad Gable what he is to do with his career? But that's where I can see the Usos headed next. They are going to be facing the Alpha Academy. I'm not sure when, but I do believe that it's probably going to be sometime after Survivor Series, because I know for a fact that if they're doing the Raw versus SmackDown dynamic, they're going to want to do RK Bro versus the Usos. That's definitely going to be a big money match for the show, considering that RK Bro's great, the Usos are great, so I can definitely see that in the Usos' future, as well as the Alpha Academy inevitably taking the titles off of the Usos. Mr. Alletto, the floor is yours. What were your thoughts on this match, and where can you see the Usos and the Street Profits going after Extreme Rules?
Can't really disagree with anything you said. I think you really summed it up well. Fantastic match from start to finish. There were multiple times within that match that I thought the Street Profits were actually going to win, based off of the ending of SmackDown, based off of Dawkins' promo before the match, where he looked, or maybe that was on the kickoff, he looked super intense, ready to rock and roll. Again, fantastic match, hard-hitting, everything you'd expect out of these two top-notch tag teams. My problem is on SmackDown, you look at that tag team roster, who are the babyface tag teams? Like, you don't really have anybody.
It's the Mysterios, who could be on the verge of a breakup. Vince McMahon has reportedly pitched Dominic turning heel, and he's going to put a mask on him, which I would not... I don't want to say I would necessarily mind it. I think a change of character would be okay, but at the end of it, it's better for Dominic and Ray to stay together as a team, because Dominic, he's going nowhere as a singles guy, if we're going to be quite honest. He's not going to win the IC title. He's not going to win the Universal title. It's better to keep them together as a tag team, especially considering you need tag teams. So they ran through the Mysterios, did the Usos, and then they just ran through the Street Profits. They only have two other tag teams, and they're both heels. The Dirty Dogs, Rude and Ziggler, and then the Alpha Academy. That's it.
Yeah, Nakamura and Rick Boogs, maybe. Like, there's nobody. That's my point, is there's nobody. So they really have to...
I wouldn't have minded that, but you were going to have to get the title off of Nakamura, and you're not going to do that because Nakamura and Rick Boogs, they are hot right now, and Nakamura's having a career resurgence with Rick Boogs. So you're not going to take the title off of Nakamura just yet.
Yeah, exactly. So they're going to have to mix something up with the draft and figure something else to do to give the Usos some more challengers. Like you mentioned Alpha Academy, but they're heels as well. So they still have the match. It would still be good. But you're right. RK Bro versus the Usos. Big money match, Survivor Series. Again, they're going into Brooklyn, guns blazing. WWE does not want to concede that market to AEW after their amazing Grand Slam event. So they're going to go all out at Survivor Series. I'm not sure if they're going to do anything with Lesnar at that show. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on it in some capacity, getting involved in that major main event with Roman and Big E maybe. Maybe he's going to do something with Lashley on that show to build up. Who knows? But I feel like they're going to pull out all the stops for Survivor Series this year, and that tag team match is going to be a part of it. It's going to be the Usos versus RK Bro. How they get there? Who the hell knows, man? I think maybe they just take a step back from even defending the tag team titles and being like tag team champions, so to speak, and just kind of be Roman's lackeys a little bit more, because there's nobody there to fight them. Like even on Raw, like what tag teams are going to move over to SmackDown? New Day, you're going to move New Day over?
You could move
and do that
Day.
Again? Like
there are more tag teams actually on Raw. Here's the thing. On Raw, you actually got a decent fucking tag team division if you actually put some effort. You got
the Vikings. The Vikings could go over there.
You got the Viking Raiders. You got RK Bro, Lucha House Party. You got Mansoor and Mustafa Ali, Mason T-Balls, and then you got
so that's gonna happen.
and Garza. They just actually recently formed, and they look great. I would actually have those guys take the titles off of RK Bro when the time is right.
Yeah, so that's going to happen, dude. They're in the draft, they're going to pull over a tag team to fight the Usos until Survivor Series. I wouldn't doubt that at all. They'll pull somebody over. But, again, to put a kind of cherry on top of this, fantastic match. I hope they do it again soon. I wouldn't mind them doing it in a steel cage or in like a ladder match environment or something. The Street Profits and the Usos, I think that would be an awesome long-term feud. I'm sure they'll keep it. They might even keep it going, bro. Who knows? They might even do another angle on SmackDown this coming week.
I'm not even sure how you do that because they lost.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, they lost clean. But, this is WWE. There's no such thing as logic, and the losers get rewarded. Speaking of losers, Alexa Bliss versus Charlotte Flair. This was for the Raw Women's Championship. And let me tell you something. I've said it once, I'll say it again. I am one of the biggest Charlotte Flair detractors, if not the biggest Charlotte Flair detractor. We live by a code here on the channel. I'm pretty sure all the people in the chat right now... Rob Wells Jr., Earl Cole, if he's watching. I'm pretty sure my main number one mod, Dee Dee, she's going to say the code. We live by the code fuck Charlotte Flair. We always type FCF in the chat all day, every day. But dude, I was actually rooting for fucking Charlotte here. Specifically because of the fact that despite both of these women being liabilities to the professional wrestling business as a whole, Charlotte Flair is the only one out of these two that can actually wrestle, at least when she's paired with the correct talent. Alexa Bliss, especially in this current gimmick, has been fucking dog shit. But I will say this. This was not as bad as I expected. Doesn't mean it was good. It was just not as bad as I expected it to be. Alexa Bliss, I will give her a little bit of credit. It looked like she was actually trying to put on a professional wrestling match. She was actually going out there and taking bumps. It looked like she was taking a beating. It looked like she was actually going out there and trying to mix it up, do some different moves. So I will give her just a little bit of credit in that department. Now, just because it was better than expected, that doesn't mean it was good. This was absolutely the weakest match of the night, the worst match of the night altogether. And at the end of it, it was a very, very predictable, very, very unmemorable match that nobody is going to go back and rewatch. Now, the whole pay-per-view was unmemorable, but this match specifically, no one is going to go back and rewatch this. Now, as far as the match goes, so Bliss, she was actually trying, like I said. She landed a head scissors, and she landed on her feet. She had a drop kick and then a cannonball off the apron. Charlotte then tried to regain control with a backbreaker. Charlotte then with a vertebreaker stretch submission. Bliss countered with a Hurricane Rana, sending Charlotte into the bottom buckle. Flair then halted Bliss's momentum. Bliss sent Flair to the floor. Charlotte Flair then caught Bliss and flung her into the barricade. So like I said, Bliss was actually taking bumps here. First time in about 4 years, perhaps. So Flair continued to wear down Bliss. Flair then with an Andrade-like moonsault combo for a 2 count. Bliss then rolled out of natural selection. Bliss with a big punch. They traded pinfalls one after the other. Flair then with a one-armed powerbomb for a close 2 count. Bliss got the boots up on Charlotte's moonsault and then hit a decent-looking code red for a 2. Bliss went up to the top. She went for Twisted Bliss, but it missed. Bliss then capitalized on Flair again with a DDT, but Flair got her foot on the rope. Flair then took the papier-mâché doll, Lily, and she baited Alexa Bliss in. She hit a big boot and then natural selection, and Flair retained the championship. Not as bad as I expected, but like I said, not good at all. Nothing that we're going to go back and rewatch. Nothing that was a blow-away type of match. Not a spot fest. Not some wrestling clinic. Better than expected, but no one gives a shit. Because the Raw Women's Division, especially the Raw Women's Division, is in a complete state of just utter donkey shit, if we're going to be real here. It is absolutely fucking atrocious. Now, Flair, afterwards, I may have just became the biggest Charlotte Flair fan after this, if I'm going to be quite honest. She actually ripped Lily to shreds. She held up the title. Bliss then attacked Flair, but Flair sent Bliss over the table. Flair then left. Bliss emerged, screaming and crying. She climbed into the ring and held the shredded Lily like a fucking baby. The crowd chanted, "Thank you, Lily." I knew that people in Columbus, Ohio were dumb as shit. Afterwards, she cried as she made her way up the ramp. She was eating the fucking stuffing. It was fucking stupid, if we're going to be real here. Screaming like a fucking banshee. The only thing that I can hope here, maybe I'm wishing upon a star like fucking Jiminy Cricket, but I'm going to hope to whatever wrestling gods exist that Charlotte Flair destroying Lily will finally revert Alexa Bliss back to being the old Alexa Bliss, the goddess, quote-unquote, Alexa Bliss. Now, I am never going to be an Alexa Bliss supporter. Unless she wakes up one morning and fucking wrestles like Bianca Belair, I'm not going to be an Alexa Bliss fan or supporter, but I'd much rather take the goddess Alexa Bliss over this great value Fiend knockoff Alexa Bliss that we're getting here. So the best thing that could possibly come out of this, Charlotte Flair ripped Lily to shreds, and I hope to God that this is the end of this Alexa Bliss character. Mr. Alletto, it's on you. What were your thoughts on this match, the ending, and the post-match assault on Lily?
Well, here's the thing, bro. She could just buy a plush Lily doll on the shop for like $30. So that puts an end to that.
I was
theory.
hoping you would say something witty. I was hoping. If I didn't say something, I hope you were going to say something.
You know, like, I don't think this gimmick's going anywhere anytime soon. I think they know that there's money here to be made in toys and products and, you know, whatever the fuck they do. I mean, marketing is really where WWE is head and shoulders above, you know, any wrestling company that's ever gone against them up until this point, you know. So
up until AEW.
I mean, yeah, AEW is really crushing it the last few months. Like in the beginning, maybe not as much, but now they're really hitting their stride with the way they marketed Punk and Bryan, etc. But back to, I digress. So we're talking about Charlotte Flair. Like, I thought this match was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Again, Alexa Bliss, you know, she's not the best professional wrestler in the world, but I've always liked her because she always tries, right? I've seen her wrestle like house show matches against Asuka where she's trying to keep up with Asuka, and it was a hard-hitting match. I saw her wrestle, and she earned my respect that day at that NXT house show. But regardless, she is better off in a role like this, bro, where she does a lot of talking. She's gorgeous. You said it's going to take a lot for you to be an Alexa Bliss supporter. I would be a supporter if she was in my bedroom right now. I'd be a supporter, bro. You know, I would support her.
Your wife would take too kindly to that. Hey, Mrs. Alletto.
I would have her join us in the bedroom, I should say. No, I'm just saying, like, okay, Alexa Bliss.
We're getting taboo here. We're getting into a threesome here. Only on my channel, people.
Menage a trois. But here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing. She's gorgeous, right? And she's very marketable. She's an actress. She's a star. I think she's a star. Her in-ring isn't the best, but there are ways they could utilize her. So I don't think this gimmick's going anywhere. But
make her a manager.
Maybe, but I think they're still going to use her in a supplementary role as a wrestler just to continue to push merchandise and stuff. She doesn't need the belt. She does not need the belt. A belt, do gimmick stuff with her. If any match needed a gimmick, it was this match tonight. They could have used some kind of weapons, false count anywhere, something to do. Lily on a pole match for crying in Vince Russo's freaking face. Dude.
If it ended with Charlotte Flair winning and ripping Lily to shreds, just like we saw, hey, I wouldn't have complained because, again, I fucking hate that papier-mâché plush doll.
Yeah, and Charlotte's going to be a big beneficiary of the draft because they're going to give her somebody new to work with. That goes without saying, you know. I don't know who it's going to be. Tony Storm? I think that would be awesome.
Oh, God, Tony Storm suddenly we get... Don't be giving me nightmares, bro.
What do you mean?
Because Monday Night Raw, that is the place where careers go to die.
Yeah, but they got to mix it up. What I'm saying is that would be a good match for Tony. It would be a good match for Charlotte. Maybe. I mean, that might be what they do. Who knows? But regardless, this is an attempt for them to actually shake up the roster and give Charlotte somebody new to work. So I'm looking forward to that. But overall, yeah, man, not the best match of the card. Probably the second worst match, probably. But overall, it did what it needed to do. Worst. Charlotte gets the win.
What was the first?
Maybe Liv and Carmella. Really? Maybe, I don't know. I don't know,
this
dude.
Match over Liv and Carmella.
I don't know, bro. That's I don't know. I'm saying, like, whatever.
I'm just genuinely asking. I'm not looking to argue.
No. I don't know. I that's hard to say, but I didn't mind it because, again, it's a championship match. You always get points for that. Whatever. They tried hard. There was some gimmickry at the end, even though it was cringe. They're doing what they got to do, man. At the end of the day, they're going to sell their toys. They're going to sell their gimmicks, and hopefully they give Charlotte Flair somebody else to work.
We'll see what happens as time goes on, but that was that. Charlotte Flair retains. Again, I was rooting for Charlotte Flair. Can't even believe I'm saying that. I don't know where she goes now, but you know what? If I'm going to have Charlotte Flair continue doing what she's doing, I would have Shayna Baszler take the title off Charlotte Flair because Shayna Baszler, my God, she has been absolutely. If Shayna Baszler was a rabid Rottweiler, she has been neutered at least 5 times over. I don't know what they've done with Shayna Baszler, but Shayna Baszler, the fact that she beat Nia Jax in convincing fashion, I would have Shayna Baszler go up against Charlotte. I would give the title to Shayna Baszler. I would give the title to Shayna Baszler.
They did her no favors, man. They did nothing with her, bro. I don't even know what she's going to do. Like, they got to split her up. She's got to go to SmackDown. Or Nia Jax has to go there or something. They got to separate
with an
those two.
undisclosed elbow injury, supposedly. So if that's the case, they have officially broken up. Give Shayna Charlotte and give Shayna the title. You could build towards Becky and Shayna in a rematch and fix the fuck up that you did at WrestleMania 36 in front of nobody in that Performance Center. We're going to move on to the next match, which was Damian Priest versus Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy. It's a triple threat match for the United States Championship, and these three individuals, they did a damn good job. This was a very good match. Loved the pacing of this match. I loved the flow of this match. And maybe I'm giving WWE a little bit too much credit on this one, but Damian Priest, he is probably the only champion outside of Roman that has actually felt like a champion. He has actually been booked fairly decently in his main roster run, minus the Zombie Lumberjacks match and minus the fact that The Miz pinned him in his underpants. But we're not going to go back to that. Match itself was very, very good. All three men worked very, very well together. Damian Priest is fantastic, and he is really becoming one of those must-see acts on television, specifically because of his in-ring work alone. His in-ring work alone has been fantastic, and he has taken to this role that he's in like a fish to water, and I love seeing the growth of Damian Priest, if I'm going to be quite honest. Sheamus, he's always been great. Sheamus has always been a nice, solid in-ring worker to give someone a good match when they need him to. Jeff Hardy, he's great. We all know that Jeff Hardy deserves better. And the overall match, like I said, was very good. I was actually shocked by the outcome in terms of who was pinned. I was going into this thinking that Jeff Hardy was going to take the pin because WWE, being the lazy, uninteresting, uncreative company that we all know they've been for a while, I had it in my mind that WWE was legitimately going to have Hardy take the pin via Damian Priest, and they were going to use that as an excuse to continue the Priest-Sheamus feud, even though we all know that should not be continuing. But I'm actually glad that they did not go ahead with that route, and by the logic that we saw last night, Sheamus is not getting any more title opportunities. So the match kicked off with Sheamus taking out Hardy right out of the gates. Priest and Sheamus went at it before Hardy came back with a poetry in motion to Priest off of the steel steps, and a flying clothesline off the apron to Sheamus. Priest came in with a tope con hero onto both men. Sheamus regained control, sending Priest into the post. Sheamus then isolated Mr. Hardy, and he fed off of the heat of the crowd, doing his usual "are you not entertained" shtick. Hardy then came back with a drop kick to Sheamus off the middle rope. Hardy then mounted a comeback with a double whisper in the wind on both Priest and Sheamus. That got a 2 count on Sheamus. Sheamus then with an Alabama slam for a 2 count on Hardy, and then he locked in a cloverleaf. There was no rope break in a triple threat match, so Priest actually had to save Sheamus by raking the injured nose of Sheamus. We had a big kick, but Sheamus caught Priest with a white noise. Jeff Hardy then with a twist of fate on Sheamus. Hardy reversed the reckoning. A little bit of a botch there as well. He went for a dragon sleeper. He tried to reverse that into a twist of fate, which he did. So, semi-decent recovery right there, but the botch was clear as day. But that did not take away from the overall match. Hardy then went up to the top, but he was cut off by Sheamus. This was actually an LOL moment of the match right here. Sheamus was actually mocking Jeff Hardy. Little props to Sheamus right there. He can be entertaining when he wants. Sheamus mocked Hardy, hit a diving knee to Priest right in the face. Priest was able to kick out. Sheamus was then caught with south of heaven. Priest covered him. Hardy with a swanton onto Priest, onto Sheamus. Shades of Armageddon 2008 when he won the WWE Championship. Nice spot there. Sheamus then came in with a bunt knee strike as Damian Priest went for a springboard. Hardy sent Sheamus out of the ring, and he nearly stole it. I actually thought Hardy was going to win it. I thought that they may have called an audible because of how over Jeff Hardy was during the course of this match. Hardy nearly stole it. Sheamus caught Hardy with a bro kick, and then Priest rolled up Sheamus for the win. and he retained the United States Championship. Right outcome. Very, very, very good match. And it looks like we could be getting another Damian Priest Jeff Hardy match, which I would not mind. And then we should be getting Damian Priest some new challengers. I don't know where Sheamus goes, but I don't think Sheamus is going to be a factor in any major championship matches for now. Maybe we get Sheamus getting drafted over to SmackDown. We could see a feud with Nakamura for the Intercontinental Championship. I know Sheamus said he wants to hold the IC title before he retires. Maybe he does get that inevitable match, and maybe he does get the IC Championship. Hardy, I can see going up against Priest one more time, but after that, I don't see him doing anything. Maybe Jeff Hardy gets traded over to SmackDown as well after he inevitably loses again to Priest, which I do believe could very well happen on Monday Night Raw Draft Night because they want to get a big match out there. Then after that, maybe he gets drafted over to SmackDown. Maybe he feuds with Roman because Roman, Lord knows he needs challengers. As far as Priest goes, I think we're headed towards Priest versus Nakamura if they're going to do a Raw versus SmackDown dynamic, Priest and Nakamura. And I would actually have Priest go over. I would continue Priest momentum, continue to build him up, and I would absolutely have Priest hold that championship for the rest of the year. The guy to take it off of him, well, if Garza is in a tag team with Humberto, that automatically eliminates him. Cedric and Shelton, man, they ain't going anywhere. They're just going to stay in catering until they inevitably get released. I am going to make a bold prediction here, and I've been calling this. There's a guy on NXT, his name is L.A. Knight. And he is fantastic at what he does. I am a huge advocate for L.A. Knight. And the way that he carries himself like a fucking prick. I love his attitude. I love his cockiness. And at the end of it all, I would not mind at all if they draft L.A. Knight to Raw. And if Damian Priest stays on Raw, they can easily draft L.A. Knight to Raw, build up L.A. Knight, have him be a bright spot on that show, and build up L.A. Knight to take the title off of Damian Priest on WWE Day 1, which I believe is their first pay-per-view of 2022 on New Year's Day. So I would absolutely go ahead with L.A. Knight. He would be the perfect recipient of the United States Championship, and he would be a solid mid-card act before he inevitably graduates to that World Championship caliber status. And then Priest, if Priest keeps up what he's doing, because he's doing great, if he stays the course and if WWE stays the course with Priest, I hope, maybe we could be looking at him fighting for the World Championship by next summer, because he is really coming along fast, and I mean fast. Very good match. Glad that Sheamus was the one that took the pin. No more title matches for Sheamus, and Priest continues to look strong. What were your thoughts on this match, Mr. Jay Alletto? Where can you see all three of these men going after Extreme Rules?
So I think this match was phenomenal. One of the best matches of the night by far. You were right on so many levels about Damian Priest, man. Like, I knew this dude had it when in NXT. I had spoken to somebody who was a buddy of mine in NXT, and I said, dude, this guy is it. Damian Priest has the it factor. Let's do something with him. I think what they've done is great. And they're building him up. Like, they're doing the old school build up a wrestler from having a major match on a pay-per-view, his stuff with Bad Bunny and The Miz, to giving him a mid-card title and eventually elevating him to the world title picture. I'm just hoping that they do it like that and they don't have him regress. Like, when he eventually drops the U.S. title, is he going to take a giant step backwards and fall down the card? I hope not.
I
hope
put
they
him
keep
in undercard matches with someone like Randy Orton maybe and AJ Styles. I actually pitched that Styles could have been one of Damian Priest's challengers. If I was booking this and you keep Styles on Raw, get him the fuck away from Black Great Khali and put him in there with Priest to help enhance Damian Priest.
I really think it would be awesome if, and since you mentioned it, I think it would be really cool if Omos turned on AJ Styles and joined Lashley and MVP. I think that would be a cool thing. Like, that could really be who's going to be Bobby Lashley's bodyguard or muscle ever? Like, you want to talk about Hurt Business? MVP, Lashley, and Omos. That's the Hurt Business. Anyway, to continue on with this triple threat match, you look at Jeff Hardy, right? I think WWE knows they screwed up by having Jeff Hardy run out for the 24/7 championship.
Oh my God.
We saw the reaction. Yeah, the reaction is something. This is a direct result of that reaction, Jeff Hardy being in this match. And he did a phenomenal job. Jeff Hardy's a fantastic wrestler. He ain't done. He's in great physical condition for Jeff Hardy, man. Like, there's been times in his career where he hasn't come in great shape. He's in great shape, and he's as old as he's ever been. So I think they want to keep him happy. They want to keep him around. I really think they're going to give him some kind of run with Roman Reigns. Because, again, you look at Roman Reigns, you look at him as the champion. This is a match that Jeff Hardy has gone on record saying that he wants. And he doesn't want the match to win the match, to become the champion. He wants to do what he can do. And that is to make somebody look like only Jeff Hardy can make them look. He's going to do something crazy to get Roman Reigns to look like an even more badass champion than he already is. So I feel like that's what they'll do. They'll move him back over to SmackDown. They'll have him work with Roman. It'll be awesome. Whenever they decide to do it. I mean, there's a lot of time before WrestleMania. They could do it at Royal Rumble. They could do it whenever. So... And then you look at Sheamus, right? So Priest, I love your idea with Priest. Keep him on Raw, build him up, keep him as champion against Nakamura, have him go over, etc. Sheamus is a X factor here because he's such a veteran, been around for a long time. He's been working his ass off the run of his career, right? When is he going to take a little bit of time off?
He can retire tomorrow and go into the Hall of Fame. You take a look at his career; he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. His first year alone was crazy. He was the WWE champion within his first year. That doesn't always happen. So, like, is he going to take a little break? Maybe. I think it would be advantageous if you circled him back with Cesaro and have them work together. Because remember, they had a great one-on-one feud. Then that led to their tag team. Then they ended up kind of drifting apart, still buddies. But I think it would be cool to readdress that and have them have a solid mid-card kind of feud, man. But at the end of the day, really great.
I would not mind.
Yeah, really great because they put on good matches. There's logic there, there's storyline, etc. Even reform the tag team if you had to. Who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? But I think Jeff Hardy to SmackDown. I think Damian Priest up the card on Raw, and Sheamus is in flux. I think he's done fighting for the United States champion. Maybe they'll have one more thing with him on Raw, with him and Priest to just put that final cherry on top. But at the end of the day, you're right. I think everybody moves away from this.
Who takes the title off of Damian Priest?
I think we're not even close to that, bro. I think you got to think that he's going to hold that belt until WrestleMania, right? I don't think there's any reason to take it off him, especially with the way that Raw roster.
If you want to do LA Knight and Priest Mania,
I like it. I like the idea. Dude, I really like that idea. I just don't know are they going to move him to the main roster? Probably, right? He doesn't really fit into the 2.0 NXT thing.
He's had a great run in NXT thus far. And to be quite honest with you, if they didn't fucking destroy the brand altogether, I would have been advocating him to become the NXT champion and probably fight Samoa Joe. But now, there's nothing for him to do, especially after he lost to Braun Breaker, and then he got pinned by Tommaso Ciampa in the main event. By the way, what the fuck's the Braun Breaker? Let's talk about this for just 1 second before we continue on with Triple Threat. Who the fuck is coming up with these names? Keith Bearcat Lee, Mace, T-Bar, Braun Breaker, Von Wagner, Doudrop, Slapjack. Who is coming up with these names?
Bruce Pritchard. Bro, at the end of the day, everything falls on Vince and Bruce. And the thing about Bruce is, I don't know if you ever listen to his podcast, that guy is a very charismatic, he can talk you in, he can lull you into a certain kind of state.
I'll tell you that.
Oh, he is. He's super intelligent. He just has his own way of thinking. He's a super smart guy. Like, he's not in his position for no reason. But what he's doing is he's coming up.
Vince McMahon's nuts.
Yeah. They lost such a big opportunity with Braun Breaker. You could have called him Bronson Steiner or Braun Steiner, and you have a star. You're missing out on Steiner line, Steiner recliner. He even used a Steiner recliner, and they couldn't even call it. They couldn't call an NXT. Put him in the fucking Steiner recliner. They couldn't even call it. So these names are ridiculous. You're right.
His father shaved his head and touched up his beard.
Bingo, dude. He is a splitting image of like, you could see Rick and Scott in this guy. You could see both of those wrestlers in this guy. This guy is going to be a huge, massive megastar in the industry. For WWE, the fear is that he leaves. and goes to AEW, and then he's Braun Steiner, and now you get that legacy back. Because that's money. That's all money you're missing out on. You're missing out on that story. You're missing out on that branding, that marketing, telling that story. WWE doesn't want anything to do with it. They want him to have his own. They want to have the IP, the intellectual property. That's what they want to have. And Braun Breaker is how they've decided to go. Braun Breaker. It sounds like a finishing move. It sounds like, oh, he hit him with the Braun Breaker, the Brain Buster. The backbreaker. Like, what are we doing? Like, it just sounds like a move. What a maneuver!
Sounds like a low rate porn star.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, stupid name, bro. Really stupid name. And they're gonna give him the belt. They're gonna put the belt on him. Dude, what is up with that too? I thought they were gonna give him the belt. I thought they were gonna give him the belt.
I thought the same thing. I thought that Von Wagner was gonna win off of that Olympic slam on LA Knight, I believe it was.
Felt like I was on acid watching that first NXT 2.0. And even last week, too, even watching both of those episodes, I felt like I was on acid. Like, what was I watching? I was watching...
Last week's episode was like an episode of AEW Dark. Nothing but an
It was wacky. Yeah, like what are they doing putting these kids in these situations and they don't know what they're doing yet? And I think they're just saying like, hey, everybody who's down there, all our brand new recruits and rookies, you're going to be on TV. And these people aren't ready to be on TV. Whatever.
I will say this though, man, Trey Baxter's a lucky guy. He got Cora Jade.
Don't even get me started. Dude. Don't even get me started. I don't want to be a creep. I don't want to sound like a creep, but don't even get me started.
I'm just saying, man. Cora.
Well, I'm an old dude. She's a young chick. I'm an old dude. She's a young chick, and let me tell you something. She's got potential. Okay.
Oh no, she absolutely has potential. I'm just saying she's fine.
Potential.
Anyway.
Yeah, and she's got potential. She's got potential in many ways, my friend.
Wink, wink. So you got no prediction on who's taking the title off of Damian Priest.
I mean, no, because you went so outside the box with LA Knight. I think that's an amazing prediction. I just don't see if they bring him up. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I just don't looking at the Raw roster right now. Yeah, I just don't see any, looking at the Raw roster, looking at the SmackDown roster, even if they mix it up, who's it going to be? It's going to, I don't see why they would even take it off him before WrestleMania. You know, I would let him have it until WrestleMania. And then you have him fight Bad Bunny at WrestleMania. You have him turn on Bad Bunny, and then you do Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest for the U.S. title at WrestleMania.
You're giving this company a lot of fucking ideas, and I'm telling you right now, they are going to absolutely do it, and I am going to bash my head against a fucking wall.
It'll be good. It'll be good. I bet it'll be good. I'm telling you, it'll be good.
Off my channel, Jay. Big E versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE titles confirmed for tonight on Raw. Again, the company is ass fucking backwards. If you wanted to generate interest for Monday Night Raw, and you actually wanted to appease... I'm sorry, hang on a minute. We lost him.
Uh-oh. I don't know what happened, bro.
What Discord happened? Did we lose you?
No, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you.
Sorry, I'm coming back. Discord just went bonkers. There it goes.
Just went bonkers on you. Hey, only on DJ Storm's channel, people.
Just went, did you know? And it came up with a pop-up window. I don't know.
Oh, my God. Hey, let's get you back on with the camera. Just let me know when you're back on.
No, I'm not on. I'm not on?
You're not on camera. I don't see you.
Oh,
there we go. Only on DJ Storm's channel here, people. Anyway, hey, we got him back. Hey, one little slip up, it ain't going to matter. We ain't even editing that out. But anyway, we were talking about Big E and Bobby Lashley. It's just completely fucking ass backwards. If you wanted to generate interest in your weekly television program, if you wanted to appease the networks, you could have done a scenario where you could have been building up consistent, logical, creative storylines with a serious focus, a vision on pro wrestling where wins and losses matter, so that way you don't have to waste these big matches and throw these big matches out there with just no build whatsoever to kick off Monday Night Raw nevertheless. And then people are going to try and compare this to Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega. You see, the thing with AEW is you take a look at that card. They had multiple matches on that show that could have main evented the card. Malachi Black and Cody, that's a main event match in its own right. Ruby Soho and Britt Baker for the Women's Championship. That's a main event match in its own right because it's for a championship, and they have built up their championships to mean something. So at the end of it all, it's not the same because AEW has put a focus on everything that they're doing and have made almost everything feel important to a point where anything could main event the show. But WWE, what have they done? Especially considering how they booked Bobby Lashley as the WWE Champion. His reign wasn't even all that spectacular outside of his matches with McIntyre. And I don't have any faith that they're going to do the same with Big E. If Big E and Lashley were not going to compete for the WWE title on the pay-per-view last night, then they shouldn't have even been on the show. If you wanted to generate some interest in your product, generate it over a long period of time with consistent logical storytelling. Simple as that. You're not going to be able to generate all this rating and all this buzz and all this interest like that. Patience is key. And I'm talking to the network officials, the network executives, and WWE executives as well.
Yeah, and they could have easily booked this match last Wednesday, right, when everybody was buzzing about AEW. They could have said, look, they could have done an announcement at any point. Lashley is invoking a rematch clause or whatever against Big E next Monday night on Raw. Then you could get to Extreme Rules last night, and you can do whatever like bullshit you did to get the 6-man tag to happen, still having Lashley versus Big E on Raw. You could have just done a simple 5-day build-up. You could have done a couple promos, done some stuff online. Too much sense. Yeah, you could still do everything that you've done, but you could have booked this on Wednesday when Wrestling World was buzzing, right? I don't know why you don't do that. Because this is why they didn't do that, bro. You know why they didn't do that? Because they came up with all that shit yesterday, Sunday. They came up with all that shit on Sunday afternoon when Bruce is snorting coke with Shane McMahon in a hotel room Saturday night until 2 a.m. They're up, they're wired, they don't know what the fuck is going on, and they come up with this ass backwards idea. They could have easily done this last week, and it would have made sense and been logical if they're doing their jobs. But I sometimes doubt that they really do their jobs. I don't know what the hell they're doing over there, man. They book on the fly. That's what they do. They book on the fly, and that's not the way to get it done, as we're seeing.
And Vince goes, it's such good shit. You're a genius, Bruce.
Yeah, that's such good shit, Bruce. I love you.
So, and then Bruce tickles Vince's right nut. Anyway, Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. This is for the SmackDown Women's Championship. This was the co-main event of Extreme Rules.
Thank God Becky Lynch is back, by the way. Before you get started, I just want to say this one thing. Thank God Becky Lynch is back. It was an absolute fucking treat seeing her wrestle last night. It was amazing.
She looked like she hadn't missed a step, but holy shit, this fucking heel turn ain't working, dude. That she has come off like the biggest fucking try-hard if I've ever fucking seen one. It's just so unnatural. Like, what are you doing? You're coming out looking like a fucking idiot with all these different types of outfits. You're not the female Conor McGregor. Stop trying to force something that clearly isn't working. And to be quite honest with you, I'm not even sure how long it's going to last, if we're going to be real right here. But
it's because Seth Rollins. Like, that's why she's doing that. It's because Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins? What, because of the fucking drip? Let me tell you something.
They're married. Because they're married. That's why they're doing it. Because they're married. That's why they're doing it.
Rebecca Quinn, let me tell you something. Seth Rollins, I'm not too high on Rollins. He's a great in-ring performer. He dresses great, but let me tell you something. You ain't no Seth Rollins. I'm not trying to suck Seth Rollins' cock, but Seth Rollins is one of the best professional wrestlers on the planet. Rebecca Quinn, now, you ain't on the level of Seth Rollins. I'm sorry. Please stop trying to mock Seth Rollins' drip.
Look at you using her shoot name, bro. Look at you with the disrespect.
I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care. People call me out all the time. I do not give a shit. This is DJ Storm's Unfiltered, bitches. Anyway. We're talking about the match itself. They actually worked fairly well together. I did not mind the match at all. They had good chemistry. It wasn't a blow-away match, but they did an admirable job at kind of making up for the shit fucking feud. Now, obviously, one good match is not going to make up for 5 weeks of shit build, but it was good for what it was. And normally I would complain about the ending, which we'll get to in a minute, but I actually did not mind the ending. And I don't want to say it kind of made sense, but yet it kind of did. Because at the end of the day, neither of them could lose. So the ending was kind of the best route to go about it, and we're going to talk about it. So Becky Lynch, she came out. She did her usual shtick. Bianca Belair was in control early. Some swift shoulder tackles, a moonsault, and a drop kick. She was very, very fluid. Becky was getting frustrated. Becky, she slowed the pace down. Becky with a spin kick and an exploder for a 2. Belair then reversed the sleeper hold. She switched Becky around into a suplex, which looked nice. Belair with a suplex rolled through into a vertical suplex and a kip up. Belair then pulled Becky into a spinebuster for a 2. Belair powered Becky up into a fallaway slam, but Becky got her foot on the rope. Becky went up to the top after she sent Bianca Belair. She kicked her down a bit, I believe. Bianca Belair caught Becky in a military press. Becky then reversed it into a disarmer. Bianca was able to get to the rope. Bianca then went for a scoop slam, I believe it was. And Becky rolled through. She sent Bianca into the steps. Oh, no, not a scoop slam, a glam slam. It was on the floor. Becky rolled through, sent Bianca into the steps, threw her back into the ring with a diving leg drop for a 2. Becky with a diving guillotine leg drop. Bianca still kicked out. Becky then reversed the suplex into a cross arm breaker. Bianca powered her up for a spine buster for a 2. Roll up for roll up for roll up. Bianca then reversed the disarmer, and she was powering her up for the KOD, which looked impressive. Crowd was getting hyped. All of a sudden, Sasha Banks comes out, causes the DQ. She gave Bianca Belair a couple of knees. She stood face-to-face with Becky, and then she took out Becky, giving Becky and Belair a back stabber, and Sasha stood tall in the end. A very good match, and I did not even mind the DQ because this is one of those rare occasions where a DQ, it actually adds to the program and develops the story. And I rarely give WWE credit for this because DQ finishes and count-out finishes on pay-per-view championship matches, they really should be outlawed, but this is the 0.0000001% in which DQ finish is actually a necessity. Because this actually adds value to the championship match that we are going to get in the future. The triple threat's coming, and this is a whole different ballgame. I don't know what happens. Bianca Belair is clearly done. She is not going to win back the championship. She's buried after what happened at SummerSlam. As far as Sasha goes, could Sasha win the championship back? Possibly. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. It could very well happen. Maybe it happens on Friday, seeing that WWE is wasting all these big matches away for free on television. But I don't know. Especially since they got Queen of the Ring brewing. Maybe they put Bianca or Sasha in the Queen of the Ring tournament. Maybe they trade Sasha and Bianca to Raw, because Lord knows Raw needs help. I don't know what's going to happen, but all I know is the program has gotten a hell of a lot more interesting with Sasha Banks now in the fold. And the triple threat match that we're going to get, it's a WrestleMania match unto itself. So the feud's been terrible. Becky Lynch has been atrocious, but the match itself flowed nicely. It was very good for what it was, and a DQ was a necessity, and it adds to the storyline with Sasha Banks. We have a triple threat match looming on our hands. Mr. Jay Alletto, what say you? Let me get your thoughts and analytics on this match.
Great match. Like I just mentioned before, I had to get it out. Becky Lynch, it's great seeing her back, man. I know she's been cringe. I think the fans really want to cheer her, and they want her to do her old shtick, the man stuff and all that. But she's trying something different, and I think they needed her to do this for because Bianca Belair is such a baby face, that it wouldn't have worked to have Becky come back as a babyface and have babyface versus babyface. It would have been a mess.
You could have just had this match at SummerSlam as it is and have Bianca go over. You didn't need to bury her in 30 seconds. Bianca should still be the champion if we're going to be quite honest. Bianca should be getting built up all the way to WrestleMania to have someone like a Toni Storm or a Liv Morgan or a Sonya Deville go on and take the title from her. Why do we need Becky coming out 30 seconds?
that's wishful thinking because at the end of the day, look, we have to get to WrestleMania. Sasha Banks needs a win at WrestleMania. I'm advocating for that right
Raw
now.
Women's title. Simple. Give the title to Shayna. Build her up as an unstoppable monster. If you want to give Sasha the Rumble win or the Chamber, boom. There you go. Sasha gets her first win and wins the Raw Women's title.
I hear you. I just don't think that they're going to move away from their top tier women at this point, man. Charlotte Flair is going to be in the mix. Sasha's going to be in the mix, of course. Bianca, Becky. I don't know when Bayley comes back. I mean, when she comes back, she'll be in the mix. I don't think they're going to elevate somebody so soon, especially Shayna Baszler, who it's quite obviously they do not care about, really. So I'm happy they did this. I'm happy Sasha came back. Yo, I'm so happy she came back because I didn't know when she was coming back. I had no clue. I knew it was imminent. I guess she was out with COVID or something must have happened. I don't know. But she's back now, and it was a great finish, a great match. You needed to do the DQ, totally necessary, like you mentioned. We're going to get a triple threat. Now you have a singles match with Sasha and Becky if you want it. Singles match with Sasha and Bianca, the rematch. You still need to have that from WrestleMania. The match didn't happen at SummerSlam. That still needs to happen. And you got the title in the mix as well. I love what they're doing. I just don't know how they're going to mix everything up here because obviously they're going to shuffle the deck. And how everything falls is going to be very interesting with how this plays out into the future. There's always ways to bring them back together, but let's see how the deck is shuffled next Friday. I'm pumped. I'm pumped she came back. I popped, bro. Because normally when Sasha Banks comes back as well, they like hit the music and she does her little thing, right? How many times does Sasha Banks come back?
Stereotypical, but they brought her back in the best way possible. And I don't
and
give them credit.
I want to add,
they did a decent job.
I'm really happy she attacked Becky Lynch too because I thought for a second she was going to embrace Becky Lynch and then she's a lackey again. I didn't want that to happen, so I'm really happy she attacked Becky as well.
They went right for the kill and they did the right decision here. Sasha Banks is friends with no one, so that is that. Becky obviously isn't losing the championship. I don't see her losing that title anytime soon. She's going to hold it at least till WrestleMania at this rate. I don't know who takes that title off of her, but if Becky's going to hold that title till Mania, Toni Storm, man. Toni Storm winning the Women's Royal Rumble. Taking that title from Becky. Toni Storm is the next in line.
I love the way you think, but that's how I thought when I was your age, too, about like the fresh, up-and-coming talent.
See, I booked the right decision. Will they do that? Probably not.
There's no conceivable way that Toni Storm wins the Women's Royal Rumble and wins the Women's Championship at WrestleMania.
If she does, then you're gonna have to.
If she does that, I will give you. If that happens, I will give you $500.
Deal.
Okay, deal. It's a win-win for you.
Deal. Anyway, I'm gonna be $500 richer by January and April. Main event. Dude, let me tell you something. It's almost as if Bruce and Vince were sitting in the back, and Bruce was like, Vince, I love you, but, this pay-per-view, it's actually turning out to be fairly decent. And Vince is like, oh, Bruce, we can't have that. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to have Finn Balor and Roman Reigns go out there. We're going to have them put on a great match. You know what we're going to do? We're going to have Finn Balor twitch like he's having a seizure. And then we're going to have the red lights come out. And we're going to have Finn Balor become the Great Value Fiend. He's going to become the Great Value Fiend. He's going to rise up from the dead. And then for no reason at all, the rope is going to break when Finn Balor goes for the coup de grace. And oh my God, tell me that's such good shit, Bruce. Oh, tell me. What the fuck was that ending? What the fuck was that?
Yeah, dude, you summed it up. I mean, I love the impressions. I for a moment there, like you mentioned the twitching and all that stuff, I didn't mind that comeback. They could have gone without the twitching, but I didn't mind the comeback with the music.
Without the twitching, he just could have gotten up, and it would have had a bigger impact.
I didn't mind the music and the lights and all the gimmickry. I didn't mind it. I just did not understand how the rope fails like that. Like, it didn't make any sense. He's a 175-pound dude soaking wet. I think they bill him at 205.
Cut the rope. That would have made more sense. I wouldn't have minded that if the Usos cut it.
Where do you logically come up with an idea? Because if you look at it, the mechanism failed. If you watch it back, it's not like it's the whole mechanism like just went Like, it just went down. And like, I've never seen that happen. That doesn't make any sense. He's a 175-pound guy. If, like, Mark Henry was standing up there or something, or Big Show's up there, I get it. It's going to fail.
They were up there 10 years ago and it didn't fucking break. At Vegas of 2011.
Where in their right minds did they think this was a good idea? I guess to protect the Demon character, that some freak thing happened.
Roman was going to win anyway. You don't need to protect the Demon. You would have been better off if you just had Roman win straight up.
Choke him. I would have had him choke him out. I would have had him put him in the chokehold.
You want to protect him? Have him choke him out with the guillotine. He did the same thing to McIntyre a year ago at Survivor Series to protect McIntyre.
To Daniel Bryan. Did it to Danielson. Did it to Bryan. Do it to the Fiend too. I mean, do it to the Fiend. The Demon.
You might as well be the Fiend.
Yeah. Now what do they do? Here's my gripe with that whole thing, bro. Is now what do they do? Right? The Demon loses. The mystique is gone. The rope failed. What explanation are they going to have to explain why the rope failed?
It would have been much better again if they just had the Demon lose in a clean, heroic fashion. Whether it be via a spear, whether it be because of the Usos, whether it be because of the guillotine, it would have been a hell of a lot better. You made not only the Demon, but you made the Extreme Rules match, and you made Roman Reigns look a hell of a lot worse from everything that happened here. I don't understand why WWE has to constantly over-fucking-script, over-fucking-produce, and over-fucking-book the simplest things. Up to this point, and the pay-per-view was still a fine in-ring pay-per-view. It was still a decent in-ring pay-per-view, but the last thing on the fucking show, and probably what was the best match on the show, you couldn't have just fucking gone without any fucking shenanigans. I didn't mind the Usos interfering, that wasn't bad, but you're telling me that you could not have just had Roman Reigns win straight up. Why did we need the fucking music and the fucking lights? Why did we need the seizure motions? Why did we need a great value Fiend? And why did we need the fucking turnbuckle breaking?
The turnbuckle thing is really the sticking point for me. You're right. You're right overall, though. Like, how do you explain that? Where's the explanation? Did Paul Heyman press a button that made it fail? Like, you're not going to convince me that it just fell, that it just failed with Finn Balor. They had Roman looking up at the sky like he's looking up like heaven did it for him or something. Oh, yeah. How about this? I don't know. Are you going to do a breakdown of this match? Or are you going to run through the...
I am actually.
All right. Because you gotta mention when they went into the audience and Roman Reigns put the fucking mask on his face. Come on, bro.
I was actually going to mention that. I don't know why he did that. Maybe he was just trying to mock the Demon with the black face paint or some shit. I don't know.
He did it because he's a 2-time leukemia survivor and he's got an immunocompromised, and he went out into the crowd. Pat McAfee said it. He goes, look at him going out with the dirty scumbags in Columbus. Like, it's like, what are we doing here? He's in the arena. He's wrestling in front of...
I didn't mind that. That was just a very minuscule detail. The ending just absolutely fucking...
Yeah. I just don't get the mask thing. Like, what are you gonna put a mask? To me, I just think it didn't make it sense. So you're gonna wrestle in the ring. You're gonna walk down the aisle, and you're gonna. To me, that's just me though. Let's
break down this match, and then we're gonna get the fuck out of here. I know you got an entire fucking life to live. I got a lot of shit to do as well, but Finn Balor, Roman Reigns, Extreme Rules match for the Universal Championship. The Demon, I will say this, the Demon had a helmet with a spike mohawk. That looked pretty badass. So Roman brought out a kendo stick. The Demon brought out 4 kendo sticks taped together, bashed Roman with it. The Demon hit a PK. He went for a table, but Roman shut him down pretty quickly. Reigns then brought out a steel chair, and he bashed Balor with it. Balor then with a double stomp on the chair onto Roman's chest. Balor then brought out a table. Reigns hit a drive-by, sending Balor into the post. The brawl spilled into the crowd. Balor was then thrown onto the pre-show panel. Reigns put on a mask like we just talked about. 2-time leukemia survivor. Whatever it may be. I'm just assuming that he was mocking the Demon because the Demon had black face paint. But the Demon fought back with a crossbody off of the pre-show panel through a table onto Roman. Demon then set up the table in the ring. Roman Reigns with a Uranagi sending Balor through the table. They got a 2 count. Balor then came back with a Pele kick. Roman with a Superman punch for a 2. Demon came back with a sling blade. Roman with a spear. And this here's the thing. I was actually getting ready to say that this was probably the best book match of the night because Roman hit a spear. The Demon with the low blow kick out, same exact kick out that Roman Reigns used on SmackDown a few weeks ago, which I actually liked. Turnabout's fair play. I like that little aspect. Little things like that. Attention to detail. Balor, then with a huge tope con hero, he threw Reigns back into the ring, hit the coup de grace, but the Usos came out and they caused an interference. Double super kick to the Demon. They set up another table. Finn fought back, hit the Usos with a sling blade. He powerbombed Jay, I believe it was, through the announce table. Roman then with a spear to Balor through the barricade. This is when things just started getting completely fucking ridiculous. Balor fucking twitching like he's got a seizure. And then the fucking red lights as if we're watching Fiend 2.0. I would have been a hell of a lot better if Balor just got up as if nothing happened. Would have been a hell of a lot better. So Balor got up, hit Roman with a chair a couple times, and then drop-kicked him through a table. That was a nice spot. I didn't mind that. He went up to the top looking for the coup de grace. I thought that he was going to finish it, and all of a sudden the top rope just snaps for no fucking reason. And then Roman hits the spear to retain. The match itself was excellent. The ending, fucking terrible. I don't know why they decided to go with that ending. They did not protect anyone. They did not make anybody look good. And it just left a sour fucking taste in everyone's mouth. A nonsensical, illogical, stupid fucking ending. And you could have saved everyone the headache and the trouble if you just had Roman Reigns beat Balor straight up. Would have made Balor look a hell of a lot better with just losing in a heroic fashion rather than some type of weird-ass fuckery with the rope snapping for no reason and then him turning into the Fiend. I don't know what else to fucking say at this rate. Whatever I say here is not going to be any different from what anyone else says. I know a lot of people are pissed, and I know everyone was asking what the fuck that ending was. It's like WWE, they could not fucking help themselves. They couldn't. They could not help themselves. The pay-per-view was going smooth. Everything made sense. Everything was going decently. And then Bruce and Vince, shitty-ass ending to end the show. Roman Reigns, let me tell you something. Roman Reigns is a quote-unquote problem unto himself because, dude, no one's beating this fucking guy. If Big E was going to cash in on Lashley, you should have saved Balor for SummerSlam next year. And you could have built up someone else to face Roman in the interim. Dude, Roman has run through the Demon. He's going to run through Lesnar, Big E, Rollins, Hardy, Drew, The Rock. Who else is there? Who else is there? There is no one left. At this rate, Roman Reigns is going to have to be fucking buried with that championship. I don't know what else to fucking tell you. Match was excellent, but everything else surrounding the match, including the ending, and everything else surrounding this entire pay-per-view, it's all meaningless. As soon as 8 p.m. hits tonight on Raw, as soon as 8 p.m. hits, everything that everyone did to make the show a semi-decent wrestling show, it's all going to be rendered meaningless. I don't really know what else to say, man.
Yeah, you summed it up. I mean, really, really good match. I did love the spot where Finn Balor pulled out the super kendo stick where it was like a bundle of them. I thought that was really cool.
I didn't mind that. I think that was very nice. That was a very nice touch.
That kind of stuff is cool. I thought that's how the match was going to go, to be honest with you, bro. I thought it was going to be like throughout the match, the Demon would have these kind of like little things set up around the ring and these little gimmicks set up. And that's kind of what happened at the end with the convulsing and all that crap, is he kind of had like a setup ready to go. Logically, that kind of shit never made any sense to me in wrestling when like all of a sudden like lights start going off and stuff. Like, who's doing that? Like the Demon just brings that out. Like he just like makes all of a sudden the arena's electric go crazy. Like that's just me being a stickler. But at the end of the day, man, Roman Reigns, you're right. Who's next? And I actually had that thought during this match. I said, well, you're not going to have somebody come out and confront him tonight, right? Because he's got Lesnar upcoming, then he's got Survivor Series. But at the end of the day, the funnel is really running dry of wrestlers that can challenge him. Like, who's going to be the person that eventually dethrones him? Or is this really a never-ending championship reign? Is this something that's going to go on for a extremely long time? Like,
it's are they long? He's absolutely going to break Lesnar's record.
Well, are they going to try to even go past well, you're talking about Universal Championship. I'm looking at like the WWE title too. I'm looking at that how long somebody holds that belt
At
for,
this
you
rate,
know.
he could surpass Walter's reign as UK champion.
Yeah, sure. And I know CM Punk like that 434 was a big deal for a long time. I think he probably
he's on the verge. One more month, he surpasses it.
One more month he surpasses that. Yeah. So then are they going to get to Bruno Sammartino levels?
At this rate, they're going to have to. There's no one. Unless you're going to fucking build up porn star Braun Breaker.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Like, so Bruno held the belt for 2,800 and something days, right?
Days.
Like, yeah, absurd amount of time. So, like, what are they going to, like, where are they going? You mentioned Braun Breaker. Is that going to be the guy that comes in and beats Roman finally?
I don't see anybody down in
NXT.
Von Wagner, we got T-Balls, we got Mace, a lot of people, man.
Man, the funnel is
new stars.
And did you see they got they took the other guy from the stupid Mason T-Bar faction, Retribution, and now
he's a cowboy.
Yeah, he got Outback Jack, the old wrestler from the 80s. Go look him up, kids. Go Google him in your machine.
It's great.
Outback Jack.
It's a riveting time to be a WWE fan, isn't it?
Dude, when I was like 2 years old, I was at a WWE house show in Toms River, New Jersey. I took a photo with Outback Jack, so I'm excited about that. But I digress. Pay-per-view, overall solid.
Toms River, we got to go to dinner, man.
Yeah, we'll hook up, bro, for sure. We'll do something. But, dude, at the end of the day, you're looking at Finn Balor. What does he do now, right? The fucking rope just broke, bro. You lost the biggest match of your career. The rope broke. Now what?
I was saying
What's
he was going
next?
to go into a feud with Nakamura for the IC title because Nakamura needs challengers.
How do you explain the rope breaking? I would have liked it better if you had.
This is WWE we're talking about here, brother. They
would have been cool.
Suck at giving explanations for anything. It
would have been awesome. It would have been epic if there was a moment in that pay-per-view where, say, like, I don't know, Dawkins was on the top rope, a big dude, and it, like, kind of failed a little bit. Like, he was shaky up there or something. And they would have foreshadowed this happening. Like, Michael Cole would have been like, oh, the top rope. You could see he lost his balance on the top rope. What just happened? And you could have Dawkins look at it like, what just happened? Like, something like that would have made you, it would have foreshadowed the finish in a sense. And it was something that, oh, wait, yeah, I remember. He fucked up on the top rope. Are they going to explain this, bro? Just explain it.
No.
It makes, yeah, it saddens me, man, that they finished the show on such a bad, horrible, one of the worst finishes in WWE pay-per-view history, for sure.
Seems like that's all we fucking know is like the worst finishes in WWE pay-per-view history. It happens like every other fucking year.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
That was was pretty much Extreme Rules, people. But we'll see where the show's leading into the draft and Crown Jewel, Clown Fools, and Survivor Series, Blunder Series take us. Like we said, a decent night of pro wrestling, but ultimately will be rendered meaningless as soon as 8 p.m. Eastern Time is hit today when Monday Night Raw goes on the air. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of The Rewind. I would greatly like to thank each and every single one of you for tuning into the video. I greatly appreciate it. Mr. Jay Alletto, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to come on the channel and talk some pro wrestling. I greatly appreciate you. You have been one of the best individuals I've met off of social media, and you are definitely going places. Hell, you're already at these places, man. You're owning the fucking places. One more time before we sign off, where can everyone find you on social media?
Thank you, sir. PWP Nation, head over there. All the links are over there on pwpnation.com and also at Alletto Live, Jay Alletto. I live and breathe my own self on social media. I'm not a gimmick. I am not an avatar. I am not a nameless, faceless, QAnon type of person, man. I am Jay Alletto. Follow me, check me out, and check out pwpnation.com.
JF and Alletto, ladies and gentlemen, that's who he is, and I'm DJ Storms. This has been The Rewind, and I will catch you guys tweeting live from Monday Night Raw tonight on the USA Network.